brought about the onset of exile. How do we get out of exile? We have to correct the mistakes that brought about the destruction of the two temples and the ensuing exile. What were the two temples destroyed for? The first temple was primarily destroyed because of a lack of sensitivity to God's will by virtue of the people worshiping idols. That's the nadir, that's the extreme straying from awareness of and respect and reverence for God. That you're not afraid to worship another God, which is the source of any sin, and every sin where you show your loyalty is not to one God, but it's to yourself or to other gods, other influences, and so on. That's the first temple. What was the second temple destroyed for? Primarily, it was because of senseless hatred. Why do people hate each other? There could be reasons, then it's not senseless. It's wrong, but it's not senseless. Someone beats up your child, you'll probably not like that. We're not going to go into whether hate is justified, but it's certainly not senseless. There's a reason, a motivation for it. But why do people hate each other without any reason? It's because of their egos, because they lack humility in a big way, and they cannot tolerate the existence of the other person, even if the other person is not harming you at all. So in order to correct the mistakes that brought about our exile, we must have humility. Otherwise we can't correct the senseless hatred. We must have fear of sin, otherwise we can't correct the worshipping of idols of the first temple era. Therefore, Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Nachman said, we are compelled to say that there's a mistake in the way the Mishnah was recorded. Maybe it means Rebbe was very humble and he was unique. Maybe he was very much a God-fearing person. But to say that it's no longer possible would mean that we can't get out of this exile, that we can never correct the mistakes of the exile. Therefore, he says, strike out humility. You can still have humility. Strike out fear of sin. You can still have fear of sin. And as that concludes the tractate Sota, the word Sota comes from a biblical term that means a woman suspected of being unfaithful to her husband. That is exactly what Golus, what exile is all about. We were unfaithful to our husband. God is our husband. We are considered his wife because we betrayed. Our faith has been betrayed, and we were distanced from him. When we come to the end of this tractate, which means we come to the end of exile, and we correct exile. How do we correct exile? Get out of exile and receive the Torah anew this year. And when we talk about receiving the Torah anew in the Messianic age, Mashiach, Messiah, will reveal not a new Torah, there's not going to be a new Torah, but it'll be newer understandings and deeper dimensions of Torah will be revealed. And preparing for that, we invoke the teaching of Rabbi Yosef that there is still humility around. We still have people who are humble, and it's within reach of everyone. It brings about unity. We still have people who respect and have reverence for God, and therefore are afraid to sin, which means they're afraid to distance themselves from God, and therefore we are all ready to receive the Torah and to greet Mashiach, who will reveal to us the deepest secrets of Torah. And I'd like to conclude with a traditional blessing that the Rebbe would always give, and that is that we should receive the Torah with simcha, with joy, not something that we do begrudgingly, but with great joy, ubepnimius, and it should be within, it should be internalized within us. Have a good evening, a good Shabbos, and a very happy, festive holiday Shavuos.